Hello, everyone. This is Jen, and we are on for our Mellow Out Sunday. And I am super appropriately dressed today in my mellow down outfit. But definitely, we are taking things pretty slow for this class. So if you are wearing like none of the things, have all of the things ready just in case you want to layer up. If you have any suggestions as to what you want to do or requests at any point in time, absolutely feel free to just type it on in the chat, and I will take a look and make sure that we get some of that stuff in. But again, today, the whole goal is to really slow things down, take it easy, stretch out our muscles, and really give ourselves some time just to breathe and to relax. I'm just testing out this ring. Not sure if I like it, but it actually fits. So it's a little thick, but we'll see how it goes. I'm playing around with it. Hey, Scotty. If there's anything you want to do, just let me know. We'll get started in just a little bit here. And then this class, we are not using any music, so it'll be nice and chill. If you want to use music yourself, go ahead and turn that on and enjoy. All right, we'll start in about 10 seconds or so. We'll start in a comfortable seat. So let's do left leg crossed in front of right. And relax your arms down by your sides. Take a couple moments here, settle yourself into your body. And when you're ready, start to close down your eyes. Empty out your lungs. As we always do, take a moment to find yourself in a very tall position. I know for me, I tend to hinge forward a little bit. So if that's you as well, to get the shoulders over hips stack, maybe do what feels like a little bit of a lean back. And let's start to synchronize our breathing. Take a full deep inhale, breathe deep, fill up your lungs. On your exhale, actively start to soften your face, your cheeks, your jaw. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Do that again. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Start to tuck your chin gently in, down toward your chest. And we'll take another inhale, start to roll your head over to your left shoulder. Really nice, slow head rolls. Take it at your own pace. And gently allow your head to fall back. If you're somebody who tends to move quickly, make a deliberate attempt to move a little bit slower than what feels comfortable. Continue to let your head roll over to your right shoulder. Notice if your shoulders have popped up toward your ears, relax them back down. And eventually, you return your chin back down toward your chest. We'll take it one more full circle around. So stay tall, stay lifted through your spine. Just let your head roll over to your left shoulder once again. Yeah. And continue. Let your head gently roll back, especially if your head feels a little bit reluctant. You feel a little tension there. Slow it down a little bit and see if you can work through those areas of tension, tightness, unwillingness, whatever it is. Eventually your head rolls over to your right shoulder. Check in with your shoulders. Relax them down away from ears. And eventually chin, return it back toward your chest. And then take a pause when your chin's toward your chest. Full deep inhale, lengthen up through your spine, still tall. And exhale, stay tall. Feel again your shoulders relax down. Your next breath, start to roll your head over to your right shoulder. And again, take your time. Really feel every single step of the way, how your neck feels, how your shoulders respond. And see how willing your body is to let your head continue to roll back. Is there hesitation? Or if it's more willing this time around, going the other direction, eventually your head over to your left shoulder. You're doing it. Totally take your time. If I'm going too fast, slow it down, no problem. Eventually your chin returns back toward your chest. And we have that second round here. Allow your head to roll over to your right shoulder. Again, stay tall, stay lifted. Continue your head roll. Let it drop back slowly, carefully, mindfully. Still your shoulders relaxed, not tense. Eventually your head over to your left shoulder. Eventually chin toward your chest. And again, once you're there, take your time, of course, getting there. Pause. All right. Take one full deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Your next inhale, lift your chin up, open your eyes, and then lean back just a hair. Swap out your legs. So as you lean back, just your right leg in front of your left. And we'll do something that some of you may have done with me in chair pose before. So once you're tall, you're lifted. We're going to snake our head down and then up, almost like doing a body roll. It'll look like this, just in case it seems a little bit confusing. You tuck your chin in. It's like you're gonna kiss your navel. And then once you feel like you can't go any farther, start to lift your chin up, head up, eyes up. And open your chest so you start to arch. Send your chest, press it up toward the ceiling. And then once you've reached sort of your max backward bend with that huge lift in your chest, start to unwind it, reversing in the way you went in. So you'll lead with your chest up toward the ceiling as much as possible until you cannot. Then it's like you want to smush the space in front of you with your chest. And when you cannot possibly go any farther, you're in a deep forward fold. Hinge. And then slowly unwind, roll yourself back up. Chin tucked. And then you're back in neutral, just like that. All right, let's try again together. So you're sort of tucking your chin in, yeah? So creating this nice little shape coming in toward you, rounding through your spine. And then once you've gone close to where you cannot go any deeper, you start to send your chin away, head up, eyes open, and push your chest forward, like you're gonna scrape your chest up against this imaginary wall in front of you, and then continue to scrape your chest up against the wall, up toward the ceiling. Lift your chest. I'm digging my nail through your up back. You keep going, lift your chest up, and you'll find a natural place where you will pause. From there, lift again, and smush your chest up toward the ceiling. Careful, careful. Press your chest forward as you start to hinge forward. And then once you're at your deep, deep hinge, let your head relax and you roll yourself back up. So feel it from your low back, gently, gently, gently. Chin toward your chest. And eventually you find that neutral. So take your time with it. We're not doing any dance moves, but it's basically a very slowed down body roll. All right, so let's do 2 more of those super slow. I'll walk you through it. All right, so you start with your really tall lift in your chest, your spine, tuck your chin in, and imagine like you're rolling yourself up into a yoga mat, tight roll, yeah? And then once you're at a place where you're like looking at your navel, rounded as much as possible, you're almost about to hit the floor, start to lift your chin up, chest up, head up, and then use this right now, use your eyeballs to walk up the ceiling. And then continue, especially if your head generally, you have this feeling in your body where like, ooh, I prefer not to drop my head back. Use your eyes to help you. Lift your chest up and use your eyes maybe to look past the ceiling. You reach your natural point where you pause and then reverse it. Lift through your chest. I'm digging my nail through your up back. Send your chest up toward the ceiling. Smush your chest forward. Deep hinge at your hips. And eventually you find your deep forward fold. Once you're just about flat, start to roll yourself up. Tuck your chin. Find your low back starting that round. Chin toward your chest. Head is the last to come up. You're in that upright position. Oh, feels so good. One more, yes? So you start off nice and tall, tuck your chin in. Almost like the start of a rabbit pose, right? Tuck your chin in. You're creating a tight compression through your front body. And see, this time your final round, if you might be able to go just a hair deeper, right? So from the beginning, you start that arch through your up back. And when you look with your eyes, you keep your brow relaxed, right? So this sounds terrible, but the easiest way to describe that is if your brow has those creases, you try to relax that space, right? So just look with your eyeballs and not with your brow. Lift your chest up, really lift. And again, you reach that terminal point naturally. And then you lift up again. It's like your chest is very reluctant to leave the ceiling. Think of your hips pushing back as you send your chest forward. And then you gently, once you find kind of your hinging all the way flat position, start to tuck your chin in, round. Good. Eventually, you find yourself back in neutral. I'm like all red from that. Keep your left leg bent. Let's send this right leg out, and we'll leave it sort of out to our side, slightly forward of that is fine too. Sole of your left foot up against your right thigh. And we'll just allow ourselves to twist. So really lift up here, pull your navel in tight as you start to send your right arm, armpit, shoulder inside of your right leg. You can bring your right hand in front. I like to do this in front just for a brief moment and take a breath. Inhale, use the leverage, this push of your hand against the floor to prop yourself up. You're a little bit longer, a little bit taller. And then keeping your lift, start to twist from there. All right, my spine is very long, just twisting. One more breath. Take that inhale, go lift up a little bit taller. You're growing out through the crown of your head. And twist a little bit deeper. Good. If this works for you, you have a good brace. You're open up through your chest, left-hand side. Start to maybe lift your left arm up as well and start to get this openness through your left arm, your shoulder. Yes. And from here, we'll take a couple of circles. So your left arm, continue to swim your left arm back, right? Feel that deep squeeze of your blade. And then once you're about at that place, we're gonna lower all the way down. Bring yourself all the way back up. So keep your left shoulder back and start to reach your left arm all the way up. You can't see my arm. I'm gonna change the angle in just a sec. And you're there. I'm gonna switch it up. All right, we'll do it again. So keep that lift, squeeze your left blade and really reach back as far as possible. We're going for some range of motion here. Staying lifted up on your right hand side. And then just as wide of a range of motion, draw your left shoulder back and then swim it all the way forward, or not forward, back to where we were. Twice more. So short range of motion, we're going all the way back best we can. Perfect. And swim it all the way up to the top. Keep that lift on your right hand side. One more here. Go lift and lengthen. Reach, reach, reach far back. Such a good twist right now toward our left hand side. And then once again, we'll start to draw our left fingers all the way back up. Open your left shoulder, hold. Take one more breath here. Lengthen out through your crown. Stay strong. Yep. Push against your right hand against the floor to push, twist a little bit deeper. Really nice. And then from here, wrap your left arm around your waist. Maybe you can see if you can reach for your right inner thigh. If that doesn't work, you can quickly maybe pick up this right hand, reach for your left fingers, and give yourself just a manual assist to get your fingers even closer. If you can reach for your heel, your foot, totally do your thing. All right, open up your chest again, draw your left shoulder back again, and we'll hang out here. Good. Hold for 4, hold for 3, hold for 2, open your chest, hold for 1. And this is a little bit weird, but let's take this right hand up off of the floor and see if we can cross right elbow outside of our left thigh. Just a brief moment touch. All right, and then return. We'll do that again to see if you can twist a little bit deeper. Right elbow outside of left thigh and return. Going for a deeper twist here. Use your left hand at your right inner thigh a little bit to help twist even more. So let's go. Right elbow outside of your left thigh. Yeah. And return. You kind of saw me going for it already, but this is your last round. So right elbow outside of your left thigh. Listen, if it doesn't really make it outside of your thigh, no big deal. If you're sort of almost there, you can probably just reach out a little bit with your right arm and you're in a good position to push and twist. If this was not working and your left hand in your right inner thigh is not working, totally unwind it, no big deal. You can push your left hand against your left leg and see if that helps you get a little bit of leverage for your right arm to go outside of your left thigh and then push twist from there. Even if your left hand at your right inner thigh does work for you, but you want to try something different, you can let it go as well. And maybe ball up your right hand fingers into a fist. Take your left hand, like you're rock, paper, scissoring yourself. This is your paper. Push against your rock and twist a little bit deeper. So I like this. It's a twist, which we worked a little bit before we came down. But of course, we're incorporating this deep hinge as well. So it's kind of nice. We have a couple things going on. And then I like it also because in some ways you have to keep your core, your right side, very lifted, strong. Otherwise, it's easy to dump. So just like when you do any sort of like prayer twist situation, see if you can get your hands closer to the center of your chest. And this is simply by pushing right arm against your leg, little bit at a time. And feel right now, if your spine is a bit rounded, lengthen, open your chest and twist. And that's the kind of cool thing. You don't necessarily need to see your spine to know whether it's rounded or lengthened, right? Just your chest. If it's compressed, it's it's hollow, then we know maybe we need to lift up a little bit more, let the light shine on our chest. Good. Let's gently unwind this then by lowering this left hand just down to the floor. And we'll gently pick up this right, place it back down to the floor. And since we're already facing this left leg, let's just walk ourselves over this left leg, kind of like a pigeon situation. So this is I'll show you what I'm looking like here. It's kind of weird, right? Because like, when would you ever do pigeon like this? It's a little bit weird. But think square kind of ish over your left leg and let your body weight just go heavy. I think this is very supported. So maybe in pigeon generally, like the traditional conventional pigeon, if it feels like you don't have as much access, this might give you quite a bit more access just in that front leg situation. So a couple of things, of course, with pigeon, you can use your elbows forearms to help support some of your body weight off of your leg. If your body is willing to take on more weight, you can start to separate your elbows a little bit more, and then maybe do 2 fists. You can lower your chin down, or you can lower your forehead down, whatever suits you. If you're somebody who always keeps your head up and is doing this whole business, maybe forehead down is a good practice. And if that is good, but you want a little bit more, flatten out your palms, let your forehead rest on the top of your hand. And just check here. We're going to hang out for a little bit. So just check here if you feel at any point in time that your spine could be longer. It's not like this search for perfection. Should your right hip be on the ground? Totally lift it up. Totally let it be natural, Rochelle. Let me face a different way so you can see. My right butt cheek is lifted because I'm focused just on my left side. That's a great question. I'm just kind of focused on this left leg and that pigeon situation. Oh, excuse the butt shot, but it sort of looks like this. So I'm not deliberately doing this. I'm just letting my body weight hang over. That's a great question. And then we're just spending time here. So whatever gives you the ability to stay a bit longer is perfect in terms of your arm positioning, right? You do not have to put all of your weight on. Maybe this is the perfect place for you. And we'll hang out here for just a bit longer. Let's say 2 more breaths. So whatever your place is. Let me finish my thought too. If you ever feel your spine is a bit like rounded, one, check if your right butt cheek is totally like planted firmly against the floor. Let it be natural. You can shift your body weight forward. That's one. And then maybe just check. I always love to come back to the old halfway lift situation. So anytime you do a halfway lift, it's all about lengthening out your spine, lengthening out your front side. So I like that halfway lift. Maybe lift yourself up off the floor and then plaster more of surface area of your upper body flatter over your lower body. All right, your next one, let's gently lift ourselves up out of it. And we'll keep our right leg exactly the same, just for a quick reset. Ooh, this might be a little bit aggressive, so you just take your time with it. We'll just lift this left knee up and then switch it just real briefly. So you can lean back as much as you need to. We're just going the opposite direction, right? But if this feels okay to you, I want you to move slowly now so the transition is not too hasty. You can bring both hands back here and then just gently lift yourself up. Maybe go for a little bit of a taller spine. Maybe you're upright and this feels okay. And if your body is saying like it's still okay, maybe, just maybe, you don't have to, you do a gentle hinge. As you do this gentle hinge, let's stay really tall, right? So staying really, really long, not allowing ourselves to just go for this head to leg business. Think about opening up and just hinging. I always like to think about my belly touching my thigh first when it comes to forward folds, right? So you're as long as possible as opposed to head touching any part of your leg first. All right, let's gently undo then. We'll switch up our sides. So lean back, do whatever you need to. Maybe you don't need to lean back quite so far, and we'll straighten out this left leg. Feel free to give yourself a shake, of course. Do anything that you need to do. And we'll take this right leg, bend it. Sole of your foot up against your left thigh. So again, we're staying kind of tall, right? So this is me not doing anything with my core. If I lift, this is kind of amazing. This sweater like is very revealing of all the things, whether I'm lifted active or whether I'm kind of slouchy hanging out. So that's kind of a good thing. So as we start to twist and bring our left arm inside, just check. Before we twist, this is a great representation. You can see I'm not doing anything right now. Before you twist at all, you lift, right? You lift, loose the wrinkles of your sweater, and then you twist, gently start to bring this left arm inside of our left leg. So, as you lengthen, feel that openness through your chest. I'm making it kind of exaggerated right now. I'm sure like everyone looks kind of just like maybe neutral, worst case scenario, right? You lift though, it's very subtle. To find that lift, you pull your navel in tight just for this next bit, right? You want to stay very active. Okay, once you've found that lift and then we've twisted, you push against this left arm, feels good. Let's find a couple of breaths. You can play around wherever you want your arm to be at the moment for your right. Inhale, go lengthen, belly in, nice tight. You want to keep all of that length that you have on your inhale as you twist open your chest toward your right hand side. Okay, good. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Beautiful. And exhale, really push your left hand against the floor. See if you can twist a little bit deeper. And let's extend this right arm then all the way up. So you start to open up through your chest, your right shoulder. And I'm gonna scoot the angle so you can see it just a bit better. All right, so we're opening here. And then we're taking this very kind of short range of swimming motion here. Stay lifted tall as you swim this right arm all the way back. Like you're gonna trace your pinky finger up against the wall behind you. Squeeze your right blade. Good. And then stay very lifted, right? Easy to slouch, so you want to keep tabs real quick. And then let's swim it all the way back up. Squeeze your blade, open your chest. Check again if you can be a little bit taller maybe, yeah. Go lift and then reach. We're taking our sweet time here, so no rush. Find your good twist, find your good length. Good, and go, reach it all the way back up. Nice. Do again. Open up, chest up. Think of pushing the top of your right hand all the way back. Squeeze your blade. Yeah. Stay lifted now. And you draw your arm forward. Not forward, up. All right, one more time. Go lift, go. Squeeze your blade, draw it back. Beautiful. And we go, draw it up. Nice. All right, let's spend one more breath here. So find some length on this left-hand side. Lift. It's incredible because you can build so much heat in your body. And then let's go twist. Right, even with these stretches is nice. Good. And then staying lifted, maybe, you don't have to. You wrap your right arm around your waist. And then maybe search for your fingers on your inner left thigh. And if it's like kind of close, but you just need a little assist, remember you can pick up your left hand, grab a hold. Ooh, my shoulders are like not liking any of this. And gently move it over. Crack. Okay. Open your chest from there. You do not have to take this option, right? This is just something to play around with. Draw your right shoulder back. See if you can, maybe, leverage your right fingers up against your left thigh to open your chest. Twist open your right shoulder just a bit more. And then we'll pick up this left arm up off of the floor. And let's see if we can exhale, get this elbow outside of your right thigh, touch. Ooh, mine's not very close to the outside. It's okay. And lengthen. We're just doing the best that we can. And exhale, see if you can twist. Get your elbow outside. That's what we're going for. And gently release. Twice more. Really find that lift. That'll give us some more length in our torso. Elbow on the outside. Go. Touch. Ooh. And then return one more time. Inhale, lengthen, go. Lift. Stay lifted so you have all that space. And elbow outside. We're hanging out here. Okay, so if you're like me, I'm like on top of my thigh, not really on the outside. But if you can manage kind of just to scoot it over, I'm just leaning a little bit deeper, and then I can get a better twist, totally do that. If you don't like your right fingers here, totally switch it up, let go of that. I'm gonna switch the view. And I'm gonna take this manual assist on this side for sure. So right hand, you push against your right thigh. Remember, when you push, you want to lift as well, lift and lengthen. So you have so much space to get more of your left arm on the outside of your right thigh. It is relatively aggressive. Okay, so if you can think when you do any sort of prayer twist in your lunging situation, if your chest looks like mine, which is shaded and dumped and very heavy on your right side, over this leg, I should say, we need a lift. And for me, I'm just using my right hand to push against the floor to create some more space. But this is giving me good information as well, because my body definitely feels like it's more reluctant to twist. Ha! Kristen, good reminder. Thank you. This is as spicy as we're gonna get. Claiming it to be mellow, but very spicy. So I need a lot of help with my right hand, I'm not gonna lie. If you feel like this is actually your more accessible side, maybe this was what you felt on that first side. But totally do your rock, paper, scissors, doing my rock with my left hand, paper with my right hand. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to lift this right hand off the floor. There we go. You wanna push. And do you notice on this side, what I mentioned earlier, these hands, best we can, we want to get to the center of our chest. I am not really quite there. But this is what we're going for. It's a big twist. So I am not going there. I'm going to use my right hand against the floor to push. And you decide, maybe this is like your super, super easy side. You're like, oh yeah, rock, paper, scissors, let's do it. I am not easily doing the rock, paper, scissors right now. So I'm going to stay here. Know thyself, and work from here. It looked like for 2 seconds I could hold it, but I could definitely tell that it was going to collapse and the foundation was no good. So all of that length I do not want to lose, and I was definitely losing with my rock, paper, scissors. If you feel like you can maintain the length and do the rock, paper, scissors, do it. Oh my gosh, for sure. I'm gonna stay here and work on my twist. So let's hang out here for just a couple of breaths. And just like with all the things, a go-to if your spine feels rounded is the halfway lift, even in this kind of weird position. So inhale, you can lengthen, feel some more space that you create through your front body. And then you wanna preserve all of that space as you push elbow against thigh and twist open your chest a bit deeper. Have we had enough of this? Let's gently place right hand down if you're rock, paper, scissors, and then we'll place this left hand down. And look, we're perfectly set up for this more accessible, hopefully, pigeon situation. Well, that was a mouthful. So face your right leg and then start to hinge. Notice as you transition into that hinge situation, what your front body looks like, or feels like, what your back body looks like, feels like. Sometimes we have more of that feeling awareness in our front body, our chest, just because we see it all the time when we're changing our clothes or whatever it is. So at least for me, rather than thinking about how long my spine is, sometimes it's easier for me to think about what my chest is doing, what's happening in the front body. Okay, so my elbows, forearms are on the floor, and this is supporting most of my weight. If this feels good to you, you're like getting a really good stretch for yourself, good hip opener, stay. If you want to start to increase the load of your upper body weight over your leg, you can start to separate out our elbows. And you can think of this, a lot of you I know do like core class when we do planks and everything. This is a very stacked position with elbows underneath shoulders. Once you start to separate, you have a less strong foundation, right? So in this case, it's what we want to start to give more weight into our lower half, but we wouldn't want this in like a forearm plank situation unless we were deliberately playing around with a particular strength thing. But generally speaking, we would prefer to be up here. And you can kind of feel that out just by playing around with that. Again, a couple of hand options. You can do fists, forehead down. Lower is palms, either stacked on the floor, maybe nothing. Your choice. And again, at any point in time, if you're like, ooh, my spine just, whether it's from a visual, you can see yourself in the mirror, or it's just a feeling that your front body is a little bit crunchy, you can always take that lift, right? Create some space and bring it back down. And I like to go by feel. I think like a visual double check is awesome, but I really personally prefer to go by feel just because sometimes something that looks like visually, quote unquote correct, it might feel quite a bit different in your own body, right? So if something like looks correct when you're like looking at yourself, oh, that kind of fits the bill, I'm doing the angles, I'm doing the things, but you're not feeling what that posture is intention is or whatever it is, and you can make these really subtle adjustments that visually have not altered what you see, but you can all of a sudden feel so much more. And that's kind of a cool thing. Let's hang out here for just a little bit longer. And again, Rochelle brought up that great point. If you feel like your bottom is super firmly like pushed away and more of like a downward dog position almost, it's not the best example. Let your upper body just freely fall heavier over. And just give yourself some space, some breath, some time to start to let your right side hip melt. Check even in with your shoulders. Relax them. One breath here, in through your nose. Heavier then, out, empty lungs. Good, your next breath, let's gently push ourselves back up. And no matter what you did that first side, I want you to just be fresh with this side as we move into this counter stretch. As you gently lean back, we'll take this right knee up. And if this already feels like, hey, I'm good, like this is my perfect counter stretch, you can stay up here is perfect. Or if your body is willing to do this, you can flip it so your right knee is now facing inward. And then again, you want maybe less of your body weight over, you're leaning back. If it feels kind of okay as you test the waters, start to gently, maybe, right? These are only maybes. You bring yourself to an upright position. And if you're still feeling like, oh, this is still okay and I'd actually like to hinge forward, then you give yourself just a gentle hinge with all of these transitions being very mindful, so we're never going beyond that edge, just riding it, right? Very gently riding our edge. And that might be totally different this side from the first side. Okay, and I think also gradual transitions offer our bodies some time, and you might find that you are able to go into it deeper. Not that that is a thing that we are going for constantly, but you might find that your body is quite a bit more willing if we give it some time and transition mindfully into it. All right, let's gently then lift ourselves up, straighten out this right leg, and do any shakes or movements that feel good to you. Okay, your straddle. It doesn't need to be the widest one ever, right? Whatever feels kind of naturally, your feet are out, your legs are in this kind of wider position, wherever it is perfect. Start with your hands back behind, and you can tell right now, again, from my sweater, that my front body is definitely not lifted. All right, once I start to lift up, I iron out the front side of my sweater, no longer so many wrinkles. And of course, my spine is much longer now too. If you can hang out right here and maintain, you can hinge forward with your hands in front. Or if you find that as you hinge forward, your spine automatically starts to round on you, you keep your arms back behind, helping you do a little bit of this propelling forward. Wherever you are is perfect. Find that place where you naturally land, where you're not forcing anything, where your body is like very willing to go. And we'll hang out there for just a little bit. And if you're hinging farther and your spine is still fairly long, maybe you come down to elbows again. That's your first kind of line of support in front. That's not true. You could totally come up to hands as well. If you're hinging deeper, yes, onto your elbows, forearms. And you can army crawl at any point in time, more forward, while maintaining the length in your spine. Let's hang out here, wherever you are, for 4 more breaths. If at any point in time, there are a couple ways, if you feel like your spine is rounded, of course we know the halfway lift business, yes. Another thing we can do, it's basically the first half of the halfway lift, is gently ease yourself out of it, right? If you ease out just a bit, you have the opportunity to lengthen again, and then maybe you hang out here, or maybe you go deeper again. Whatever you choose is perfect. Whatever feels right is perfect. All right, 2 more breaths here in through your nose. We find that length, exhale out through your nose. Let everything soften a little bit deeper. 1 more here, inhale. Check in with your shoulders as well. Yes. We're coming down to the floor soon. Exhale. Not to the floor, we're already on the floor, onto our backs. Melt. Good. And we'll stay low, right? Wherever you are, whether it's super touching the floor or you're up high with your long spine, either one totally works. We'll just face this left leg briefly. Again, you're either low or wherever you are, you preserve that length in your spine. When you're facing this left leg, really square up over your left leg. So this leg basically slices you in half. Your belly button, as you pull your navel in, thinking about twisting, so your belly button lands top of thigh. In reality, it probably lands just to the right of your left thigh. And stay tall. You can bring hands out in front to push away. You can bring one hand back, one hand forward, whatever works there. Both hands back, propelling you forward. This activity in your arms will help us maintain that length in our spine. And once we've set it up, hopefully we can just kind of hang out a little bit and give our bodies that time in that space. So each time we come back to this place, we're able to access it more easily. Especially right now if you feel all the things. And that's the other thing too, I would say, even if you have access to go all the way deeper, sometimes it's really nice to come out of it a little bit and maybe check in with details a little bit. This is not a chase for perfection for sure, but sometimes neat, because like up here, for instance, while I have some access to go deeper, I feel like up here, I have a lot of, there's still like a lot of the feels. Like there are still a lot of the details that I can work with and experiment with. Whether it's this one, this was so subtle, by the way, I just noticed it. The dropping of my right butt cheek down, the re-squaring of my upper body over with my right butt cheek down, the lengthening of my spine, crown out, maybe the flex of my foot harder, and then maybe maintaining all of that with a very long leg. All right, this is all very active. And we'll just do 2 more breaths in an active fashion, and we'll let our bodies hang out in passive in just a bit. All right, 1 more breath here. Find some activity, find all the feels. Good, and let's let ourselves fall into it. So when we fall into it, however you land is perfect, right? If access is a little bit tricky, you're falling into it might look kind of the same as your active situation, right? If you're using something sort of to prop. If you don't want to do that, but you want to kind of hang out here without the use of hands, bring in something else. I have Mr. Perry ready, right? Once I'm over, it's as if my hands, as if Perry is my hands, right, supporting me, and then I can fall over quite easily. And for the passive, don't worry about the spine. Not concerned about all of that anymore. Just let yourself be. It might be the case that now your body is getting a deeper stretch more on the hamstring side of things than the spine side of things. And you'll feel all of that activity surrounding core area kind of gently soften, right? So totally normal for all of that to kind of fall slack, to feel, hopefully at this point in time we've worked together, hopefully almost feel like, I don't want to use the word unnatural, but a little bit, because we've been training to maintain length all the time, right? So hopefully this almost feels slightly like, oh, we're telling ourselves to do it, but we wouldn't normally allow ourselves to go too rounded, too slack, right? But right now, for sure, give yourself permission. Allow your body to almost be like dead weight here. And even this left foot that we had previously flexed, feel free to let it go. And feel what that changes in your body, in your stretch. If you feel like there's less tension now, top of foot. And more of a letting go throughout our entire body. Especially today, we did a lot of things in our twists to stay lifted, to stay active. This is the time now to completely chill, let go. Not worrying about how straight our left leg is, not worrying about how long our spine is. Just letting our bodies be natural wherever they have fallen. And we'll take a couple more breaths here. Full deep inhale. Exhale it out so heavy. One more time, full deep inhale. Exhale it out nice and heavy. Next inhale, gently lift yourself up. Take your time. Good. And we'll switch to our other side. So we're bringing back a bit more activity once again as we switch to face this right leg. How are we doing, Rochelle? Yes, I know. Switch left, switch right, doing all the things. So let's face this right leg now. Again, we're keeping this all pretty darn active again. So wakening this all up after that bit of passive stretch. Face your right leg. I like to use my hands to prop, right? So right now my shirt is a little bit wrinkly. I'm not even exaggerating. If I'm just hanging out, chatting with you, not doing any sort of active lift, this is how my sweater looks, right? It's a little bit wrinkly, a little baggy. Use my hands to push and lift. I grow a little bit taller. I iron out my shirt. So I've ironed out my shirt. I'm going to pivot, twist, and start to hinge. Good. Maintain that length in your spine, and then see if this side requires something different of you, right? So of course we have the activity, but maybe your arms like need to be in a different position for this side to work better, right? So, and sometimes you know that you do need something different, but you don't know what exactly that thing is. And that's where experimentation comes into play. And that's why I totally encourage you, regardless of how much access you have, to try out all the variations. You just don't know what might feel super good, and for whatever reason, whether it's like, oh, I don't need to do that, or oh, that's too far advanced for me, whatever it is, sometimes you just don't take that option because we're like, well, that's not for me, right? Sometimes just give it a whirl, right? The worst that happens is that it's not an option and you've just confirmed, right, what you thought. But sometimes it surprises you, right, which is kind of fun too. So wherever you are active, we'll hang out, find that length, and think about your chest, right? Still very open. For a while, I was just thinking for myself, and you probably heard it quite a bit. Long chest, right? Which, like, what does that even mean, right? Long chest, it's super weird. But long chest, open as opposed to collapsed, right? So long chest, long spine, all those things, a ton of activity back here in our low back. And I think that oftentimes is what makes the difference, right? Generally speaking, we are more like aware of our front body, right? We mentioned the whole changing our clothes thing. And oftentimes, vanity's sake, we also look at the front side, right? Don't lie. But I think there's so much to be said for like a very strong back, right? Keeping yourself lifted, keeping yourself upright. Probably is underrated though, because it's something that we just don't see, right? It's just not something that's readily available in our eyesight and our frame. So again, when you're here in this active situation, check out maybe one arm forward, one arm back, both arms forward, and then play around also. If you're coming all the way down, you have a ton of access, check in, could your right leg maybe be a little bit stronger, right? And simply by kind of pushing, I don't want to say pushing the back of my knee down toward the floor, but re-engaging my quad, that's the proper way to say it, and finding some extension with my heel, sending energy out and away, all of a sudden I find that I have so much of a deeper stretch, and my body naturally wanted me to come out of it a little bit. And of course, if you feel like you're more hinging on the inside of your right leg, absolutely feel free at any point in time to lift yourself out of it, no big deal. Reposition, re-square, re-twist, and then come forward again, right? You're not losing any time by doing that. You're repositioning yourself in a much stronger aligned fashion, and that's wonderful. So as we're in this more active space, let's check. Maybe we can flex our foot harder. So harder flex, toes coming back toward us. Maybe more of the energy sending out through your heel. Maybe more of the back of your knee making contact with the floor. Maybe more length in your spine, more length in your chest. And then maybe you play around with how deep you go and being able to preserve those details for the next couple breaths. One thing I definitely need to constantly remind myself of is my head. So even when I go down, I'm like, I'm thinking about biting my toes. Look at this huge break in my neck though, terrible. So if this is similar to what you naturally would do, I would encourage you to think about a long spine. So top of head through tail is pretty long, pretty neutral. But it's difficult to remember because you're just like, I'm going there. It's so close. I want to go see my toe. But you've seen your toe. It's fine, right? You keep on going, hinging maybe a little bit deeper, and then preserving the neck as you come down. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Okay, so we'll let ourselves just completely melt. If that means you're here, you have access, you're just letting your head drop, perfect.
Let your foot relax. Top of your foot, no more strain. Feel how that changes the sensations, the feelings. If that is not working, remember you have your handy dandy something, and let yourself just fall over. Wherever you've decided that is, whatever your position is, completely let go, right? This one, when we're in the passive phase of our stretch, you're in a perfect position already. So that's kind of nice, right? Once you've gotten yourself there, there's nothing to fix, nothing to change. You just completely let go and allow yourself breath by breath to melt, to soften, to enjoy, to relax. Right? So enjoy this space, enjoy this time, and let your body do nothing at all. Enjoy your breath. And it's an interesting practice for the passive side of things, because theoretically it would be easier, right? When we don't have things on our to-do list, this detail to check off, this other detail to check in with, whatever it is. The passive one, once we're there, we're there. The challenge then of this one is being actually okay with maybe these little things not so perfect, right? Maybe you've landed in a place where you're really itching to adjust it, right? And sometimes you do give in and you adjust, and that's perfect. You feel much better. But then this practice becomes then, if you feel this constant need to adjust, then we have this wonderful opportunity to practice allowing ourselves just to be. Even if we've landed in a what we consider not to be perfect position. You just breathe right through it, still find stillness through it. And just trust that you've landed in the most perfect place for you, for this moment. Let's take just a couple more breaths here. Allow your body to give in, to relax, to soften. One more time here. Breathe deep. Exhale it out. Good. And slowly lift ourselves out of that. Ooh, I felt like I had taken a nap there. From here, gently scoot your legs back in. You can manually give it a push or just bring them in. And we'll take ourselves to the ground. So however you'd like to get there is perfect. And we'll just bring both knees right into our chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, whether it's hands on shins, press a little bit manual downward, or if you'd like to reach for your opposite wrist. And let your tailbone melt down closer to the floor. Or with the hand positioning, if you are feeling up for it and your tailbone does not lift too far off of the floor, maybe you reach a little bit farther, maybe to your forearms. Check in with your tailbone real quick. Maybe to your opposite elbows. Check in with your tailbone. Let it fall flat. We're going to hang out here for a little bit longer. And so in this full wind removing pose, with your knees press down toward your chest, your tailbone falling heavy down. Feel free to close your eyes, by the way. As we spend a couple more breaths in this space, actively allow your hips to soften melt. Allow your tailbone to drop heavy. Feel your shoulders, instead of super lifted up off of the floor, start to relax heavier down toward the floor. So it's almost like taking your yoga mat that's been rolled up and unraveling it. Sometimes those tail ends still like to be curled up. You start to gently, with time, with some heaviness of your legs pressed down toward your chest, you allow that tail end that still wants to curl up to start to flatten out. You unravel your spine. Notice if your chin is super lifted with your throat exposed. Give me just a gentle tuck. You feel the back of your head, nape of your neck start to flatten more toward the floor. Maybe your breathing has started to deepen as well. We'll take 2 active, slow breaths here in through your nose. On your exhale, let your tailbone fall heavier. You unravel your yoga mat more, flatten it out. 1 more breath. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Go on your next breath. Gently let go of whatever you held on to. Free your arms, free your legs. You can go completely long out with your legs, or if you prefer to keep your feet out a little wide and knock your knees in, this feels quite restful as well. So it's totally up to you. Let your arms relax, fall out to the sides. Close down your eyes. I will say the feet flat, knees knocked variation helps me to flatten out my spine a little bit more so that my spine is not aggressively arched. I'm not saying this is better or worse than the legs completely fallen out version. It is just something like I go to if I feel like my spine has felt particularly archy lately, then it feels nice. Or again, you completely straighten out and maybe you get more relief with your legs completely long after we did that huge compression for our hips. Let's take 3 breaths together here. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. 2 more breaths. Full deep inhale. Exhale it out. One final breath together. Inhale. Exhale. If you'd like to stay here in your Savasana, stay. If you'd like to move on for the rest of your evening, start to bring a bit of movement back into your fingers, toes, little circles, wrists, ankles, movements. Just start to wake up your body once again. Maybe bend up your legs a little bit and reach for the backs of your thighs for just a little bit of a rock, forward, back. A little massage for our spines. And then when you're ready, sit yourself up. Remember, you can be in that Savasana still, no big deal.
Knees together, feet together, kneeling position if you're with me. Take a full breath. Inhale, arms go all the way up high toward the ceiling. Exhale, push it out, right, left, lower down. Do that once again. Inhale, arms go all the way up. Once your hands touch, exhale, draw your hands down through your heart. You're nice and tall, lifted. Final one here. Full deep inhale. Exhale. Good. Release your arms down. Open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. Way to mellow out. We sort of spiced it up today for sure, Kristen. Way to keep me accountable. That was good. But let me know anytime you want to do a particular thing. It was so nice to just stretch and give ourselves, again, permission, right? Always we have to give ourselves permission to relax, right? That sounds so weird, but it's true. Thank you so much for joining Manasi, Steven, maybe Molly's there too. Have a great rest of your night. Tomorrow we have a nice little core bit, 15 minutes. So if you're down, we'll keep with the 9 a.m. I think. Shauna, hello, girl. Good to see you. Yeah, we'll keep with the 9 a.m. 15 quick starburst. And have a wonderful rest of your night. Rochelle, that's right. Good work. I will see you again hopefully tomorrow or later this week. Okay. Bye, my friends.